Today I'll be explaining level 114 of the Backrooms, also known as Sweet Dreams. This level is one of those that you should never let your guard down on. You should never think you're safe, and even though it might look familiar, nostalgic, and liminal, as Jaden Salads would say, it's not, and it's quite dangerous. But this is a classic level, you do not want to miss this explanation, trust me. Thank you for watching the video, and let's go ahead and hop right into it, shall we? Level 114 of the Backrooms has a survival difficulty of Class Nostalgia, which is one of the more unique classifications that I've seen during my time making these videos. And it says it's classified that because you're home, you're safe, and right, question mark. The level was discovered way back on April 17th in 2021 by a wanderer when they accidentally found themselves here after falling asleep on another level. They documented what they saw, and the following description is what was given. When you arrive inside this place, you'll immediately be caught off guard with how it looks, and that's because it shapes itself to appear as if it's your childhood bedroom. Like literally the level shifts itself and makes itself appear as if it was your real room. However, there is nothing else beyond your room, it's just the front door of it, and after that door, there is nothing but an expansive black void. Now, there are several levels that seem to replicate or morph into locations from your physical life from the front rooms, but this level is different in many regards. The main point of differentiation is the fact that the entire level is just your bedroom. And this bedroom is placed inside of an infinitely expansive black gelatinous void. So if you were to take a camera and get a bird's eye view of this level, you would just zoom out and see a small cube that your room is and nothing else, just black death expanding on forever. And that's it. There's no living room, there's no hallways, there's no other parts. It is quite literally just your 10 by 10 square foot bedroom in the middle of a void. Another strange thing that the level does is that the bedroom that it chooses to replicate is always in the age range of what your room looked like when you were 9 to 12 years old. Like it chooses what your room was in those specific age ranges for an unknown reason. We don't know why it mimics this, but for me, 9 to 12, that would have probably been like the older brother core style room. I used to have like the monster posters and stuff hanging up. It was a cool time, so I wouldn't mind seeing that again. If a wanderer had more than one style of bedroom during that age range of 9 to 12, or if they moved or if they remodeled, this level would probably resemble a hodgepodge version of all those places jumbled together. Somehow the level knows and it'll combine them. Another thing of note is that if two wanderers are in the Backrooms at the same time, and those two specifically shared a bedroom during the age of 9 to 12, they will be sent to this level together. They'll end up encountering the exact same version of level 114. They'll be able to see each other, interact, and go through this entire level together, even though it's not really an entire level, it's just a room. But this is one of the only examples throughout the entire lore where you can actually meet other people and talk to them and be with them. Usually you're on your own and isolated. But anyways, when you do find yourself here, you'll begin standing inside of the doorway of the bedroom, facing towards the bed. And of course, behind you in that doorway, there is nothing to view but a black void that expands out for eternity. Once you begin to investigate your room, you'll notice that where your bed normally would be, every single time this level creates itself, it replaces your original bed with the exact same single-sized bed and mattress. So while the design of the bedroom will change depending on who comes here, the bed stays the same. So even if you had a bunk bed or a normal bed, or even if you slept on the floor, there's going to be this exact small bed here when you come. The bed specifically has a blue fitted sheet, and it looks disgusting. It looks like it's been there for hundreds of years. If you pull back the covers on the actual mattress, it'll reveal that it's infested with some kind of bed bug. There's just animals and stuff crawling all over the sheets. It's disgusting, and you shouldn't be touching any of it. And you definitely shouldn't try to sleep in the bed. So don't come to this level all tired and stuff and see a bed and fall into it. Don't do that. The other furniture from your room will all be the same though. The dressers, the shelves, the lamps, whatever else you had, it'll all be here as well, including closets. However, the lights and the electrical switches that worked in real life, they're not going to work here. The only thing that does work is this constant ceiling light that's on above your head. So if there's outlets or anything like that, you can't plug your phone up, you can't do anything. There's no electric to this cube in a black void. That wouldn't make any sense. Although really nothing else I talk about makes sense, but whatever. Now, looking past the fact that you're in a Backrooms level that looks like your room, but different, all inside of a black lifeless void, nothing seems really outwardly bad, right? It kind of just seems like you get to explore your old childhood room. Maybe the bed's a little disgusting, maybe you're in a black void, but nothing's actually bad, right? But now I want to shift your attention to the void beyond the bedroom. That thing behind you when you spawn in. You know, you're facing your room from the doorway, but the void behind you and surrounding, it is much different than the other types of empty spaces in the different levels of the Backrooms. See, many times voids act as buffers or borders or something to buildings or windows, and you can't walk through them. You can't get out of them. It kind of traps you in. It's like a border in Minecraft or something. But this void in this level is explorable and spatial. You can walk right out of your bedroom and enter the darkness. Even though there's no visible structure beneath your feet, you will be walking on nothingness. A thing to note though is that the gravity in the void is lowered to a degree, and this will make it feel as if you're kind of floating through water when you walk outside. The air will be thicker, they'll have more friction when you walk, and you can't really sprint or anything, you're kind of just floating around. But here's what the levels page has to say about the dangers that lie within that void. While it appears devoid of the fearsome monstrosities which lurk in other such spaces, this is by no means a pleasant domain. The gulf is wide and yawning as the ocean, with no discernible beginning or end in any direction. It is deep and black as ink, descending to depths into which no man may dive and return to the light. Though no creature has emerged from it to devour the quaking forms of passers-by, it may be yet that some foul beasts lurk unseen within the endless abyss. Peering into this haunting chasm, one is exonerably reminded of the jaws of death. It is disquieting to realize that such a fate awaits our spirits, even here in this lost world, at the end of our journeys upon the mortal plane. Neither is the room behind the doorway of any comfort, drab and devoid of life, as if the looming horror of the void had crept in and overshadowed the space also, choking out the life within it, till it too was a deathly shadow of its former self. Such is the fate of many men, given to despair at a wasted and futile existence, doomed to do naught but wait to be swallowed whole by the darkness of the gulf below." End quote. So that was a rather poetic, very fancy way of saying the void is scary. Okay, it fills you with this existential dread. While you should be happy that you get to see your old room, you're literally in a sea of endless death. There is no life out there, besides maybe things that lurk in the deep darkness, of course. But there's no reprieve from the darkness. You cannot escape it here. And if you're not careful, if you're not thinking correctly, you could float away into this obscurity. You'll essentially just starve out. You'll wither away. There's no food or anything out there. You're cooked. And that is quite literally a horrifying reality that somebody's probably experienced before. I know there's probably been a few people come to this level and float away. Now, entities in this place are quite unusual comparatively to other levels in the Backrooms, because this is a very small level, right? It's just a room inside of a void. But there still are several entity types that you need to be aware of. The most unique of which, that is specifically only here, is known as stress mold. Now, this is a newly discovered type of entity, you could call it, that appears as a black mold-type spore inside the bedroom walls. It grows in small patches here and there on the walls, underneath the mattress, on the floor, and it's known for its many negative properties. Inhaling the mold can lead to a heightened anxiety and stress levels that rise to unnaturally high heart rates. When one enters the bedroom, this mold is only in a small spot, somewhere on the wall or on the floor, underneath your carpet. It won't be visible. But it seems that the longer you stay inside of the room itself, inside of the small box in a void, these mold spores will spread, and that rot will take over all the material in its way. And after about 8 hours of being inside your room, the mold will have spread to an unsafe amount, discarding and decaying everything right in its path. Obviously, breathing in this much mold can do a lot of damage to your mental and physical health, and because of this, you should not stay in this level for long periods of time. There are also instances of smiler entities lurking beneath beds or in closets or in cabinets. They might be there, they're not always, but And interestingly enough, instances of window entities have been reported here as well, especially if your bedroom has multiple types of windows, the more chances there are that you're going to see one of these. But But beyond the mold, I'd say the scariest thing you might encounter is that glimpse of a shadowy figure just off inside of the shadow expanse itself. That excerpt from the page, it says right there that there is probably something out there beyond what you can see. There's no sun in this level. You can't see off into very far, but if you're laying down in your room and you just hear something tapping on your window or you see something walk past the door out in the void, that's the real horror here. Because you don't know if it's real or if your mind is playing tricks on you. Now, obviously this level does have a few draws to come here. Because first of all, you can kind of relive a small portion of your life from the front rooms, and I'm sure everybody misses their life because they're trapped in the back rooms. Even if it's not for a long time, even if you have to endure black mold and the black void forever and bugs and stuff, it'll still resonate with you. It'll still be cool to be here. But because of that, people do try to come here, and they try to make the pilgrimage so they can relive this small moment of their lives that they'll never have again. It's not safe to sleep at this level no matter what you do. As tempting as that might seem, you might feel safe here. You should never try to sleep. But if you do want to come here and you want to travel all this way to come relive a little memory or something, you can travel past the known limits of level 29, and you'll end up wandering through a doorway, which will be your room. You'll be here. And to exit, you can try to risk it and fall asleep on the floor, preferably not in the bug-infested bed. And doing so, you might wake up on level 9, or you might never wake up and the mold can get to you, or whatever else is beyond the doorway. Like I said, the real horror of this level is the loss of innocence that it gives everyone who comes here. It shows you this time in your life that should be happy, it should be relaxing, there should be no stress, it's your childhood room. But the rot, the decay, it's seeping through the walls, the windows, the mold. And even though everything in that room was from an innocent point in your life, it doesn't matter now because that time is gone and you can't go back. It's kind of depressing to think about, but that's what this channel's for, right? Thank you so much for watching my explanation of Backrooms level 114. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. I really appreciate it. Check out the links below, my other channels, Spoogly, my TikTok channel, my Instagram profile. Check it all out if you want more from me. Thank you all so much for your support. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. And with all that said, I'll catch you in the next video.